Here's a Beyond the Pitch podcast quick hit from the WVSA Digital Network.
So when I think about, when I teach pre-training fuel, I talk about it in three distinct phases. It's a lot easier to kind of group it that way. So phase one is that pre-training or pre-game meal. And that's where you're going to base that on that moderate or hard training plate with a third or a half of a plate carbs. And that's going to be 3 to 4 hours before your training. And that gives you plenty of time to break down those nutrients, energize your muscles, and feel comfortable when you get into practice. Because you never want to get to training and feel overly full or stuffed. The second phase is that 1 to 2 hours away from practice phase. And this is where you can have a little bit of a bonus snack if you're hungry. You don't always have to have this snack, but I do say if you're hungry, listen to your body and have some fuel and make sure it has some carbohydrates, because again, that's your fuel, and some protein to help fill you up a little bit. So it could be something like a little bit of overnight oats with peanut butter, or banana with almond butter, or maybe nuts and dried fruit. Just something that has some fat and some carb and some protein to give you some sustained energy. But again, it's a little bit smaller, so you can break it down and use it before training. And then that third phase is that 60-minute window before training. And this is really the most important because this tops off your energy stores right before you hit the field. So we're thinking about very, very simple carbohydrates. We're within 60 minutes of training, right? We don't want you to have cramps or nausea or, have to run to the bathroom mid-practice. We want to keep it very simple, something that your gut agrees with. So when I work with athletes, we talk about testing this fuel. So we test out, say, a very simple carbohydrate, and I like to refer to them as toddler snacks. So what would a toddler eat? Pretzels, graham crackers, applesauce, maybe half a banana, things that are very, very easy to digest. We're going to test this out so that you know what works for you. So you start with a small portion of, say, animal crackers an hour before training. If that works for you, fantastic. Let's move it to 45 minutes. If that works for you, awesome. Let's move it to 30 minutes before training. And we see where that sweet spot is for you to make sure you're energized through training. So that last sprint at the end of practice, they're still going strong, but your gut also agrees with that training fuel. So those are kind of the three phases I walk athletes through when we're thinking about that fueling plan. And again, like you mentioned, it's going to be different. What if they're coming from school? Or what if they have a really early morning practice on a Saturday or a late evening practice on a Thursday? Right? This is really going to vary based on their schedule and what's going on. And that's where just thinking about these phases and how we can plug them in and fill those gaps is really the easiest place to start.